Carlosaura, disguise. Who are you, Carlosaura? The one who showed me one of the most beautiful women that I know, who showed me a strong, vulnerable woman, who confuses me with his movies, the one whom I lost in a moment when you got liberty. 1980, I was 15 years old. The movies of Carlosaura always had something inexplicable in itself, due to the backdrop which I didn't understood, although I felt it, also it was actually so obvious. Afterwards, I'm not always sure what movies I saw before my apprenticeship secretly at night. Of one I know it very well, Ana y los Lobos. I saw the movie late at night. The parents slept upstairs. I at that time next to the living room, there where the TV was. When I had begun to get up secretly and to watch movies and music programs at night. A whole new world opened up to me. Not a stupid Ilya Richter with disco, but Rockpalast, Alan Banks. And the films were also different. Of course, also more sex, more revealing, but above all, the stories were not easily predictable. Many things surprising, confusing, opaque, fascinating, cast a spell over me, and then this film. Actually easy. A beautiful girl, a mansion, a mother, and 3 sons who chased the girl. Yet the images, they were different. Something seemed to be wrong, not to fit. I was more and more confused. I turned off and went to sleep. Until today I wonder how the end would have affected me. The rape, the humiliation, the killing. Again and again I've asked myself this question. Sherilyn Chaplin. I was terribly in love with her. Her smile. A bit like Natalie, she more girlish, Sherilyn more womanly. I loved the movies with her, loved her, how incredibly beautiful she was. Peppermint Frappé. Many of his movies impressed me so much the more I understood them. La Casa, as Buñuel. When he was able to work free, I sheer off increasingly from his movies. Deprisa impressed me once again very much. I think I wanted to be him, even if it ended thus, but at least he was not alone. Louis Malle, Misfit. Who are you, Louis Malle? You are so confusing, can't grasp you. You movies so different as from other strangers. Charming, repulsive, tears, boredom. I don't understand you. You are mystery. I was years old. The movies of Louis Malle always had something sassy, violet, Louis Malle. Some of his films are simply charming. Sassy I had immediately locked in my heart. Others are great classics. With others I have no use for. Black Moon, others. Others are among the most beautiful films I have ever seen. Au revoir les enfants, Goodbye Children, is one of the movies that touched me the most. I cried when I watched for the first time and cry every time I watch. François Truffaut. It seems to me as if it were his film. This I could understand. With Louis Malle I have just problems. I know that this is nonsense. Pretty Baby. Already at the first viewing I felt it just ridiculous. Brooke Shields, 13 years old as I. Had it been fun to me that at the age of 10 years nude pictures are taken of mine? That I, with 13 years, should pose constantly nude in front of the camera? Somewhat later finally sentimentalize the same thing do once again? That I have to litigate later so that the pictures are removed from an exhibition because they are allegedly art? Would I be pleased to be Pretty Baby? Would it make me proud? Would I have shot this movie? I simply not understand him, Louis Malle. Does a director has a responsibility for his actors? I have asked this question myself many times, already in my youth. A photographer for his model, a painter as well, an artist for his work, people for other people. Does an artist is allowed to bear others to say something out? About what? Say something out. Or should he bear himself? At least himself also? Or already better only himself, and in what form? Does Eva Ionesco is allowed to, as old as I, reappraise her childhood in a film, and with that to put a young actress in the same situation in which she was? I had found the movie impressive otherwise. Eva Ionesco plays herself. As adult woman, an actress, she enacts the young Eva and breaks so with the past and the line-up of young actresses, female singers, those that just France like so. Would a movie encounter resonance without Anna Maria Bartolomei while shooting 10 years old? Oh, and of course, not forgetting Isabelle Huppert. When I read the comments to the young actress, her sensuality and gracefulness, I'm getting sick. Where still is the difference of Irina Ionesco to Eva Ionesco? Where still is the difference of Louis Malle to one of the suitors who go to Violet? Wherein then still is the difference of watching such films or looking at the pictures of Eva Ionesco as a child and young girls themselves? Therein. Eric Romer, talking. Who are you, Eric Romer? You, storyteller. How the people's gossip bores me. Your characters I could listen forever when they talk on and on. You're like Joanna when she sings on and on. But you have the ease of Truffaut. The ease I can see no longer in her. But with you it's still there, and the pretty girls are also still there. Those who only talked, never happened it, never. But then I liked it always after all. It was different, not so predictable. Your first two cycles I've considered completely. 1987, I was 22 years old. The movies of Eric Romer always had something teasing, always on the verge, but never quite, always something intervened. In the flood of dialogues, they invited to dream, woke yearnings. Now I know their names again, not only Claire, especially Reinette and Mirabelle. It's the little stories, the feelings, the wishes, the desire to stand for in order to deal with, even Jean-Louis Trintignant, aspirations. Even then, I always wanted to be a part of the plot. I wanted to be with Pauline, Laura, and certainly with Claire and Maud. But most of all, I wanted to be either Reinette or Mirabelle, especially Reinette, to stand the adventures with Mirabelle. His movies were probably the antithesis of directors like Coppola or Peckinpah to me. The Great Dictator. You and he, born almost on the same day. He, the director, or the visual artist. You, the dictator, who annihilates millions of lives. What a question. What an answer. Is it a lie when you are standing at the end at the lectern and say that you don't want to be the dictator, talking about humanity? Is it hypocritical when one attributes him tender feelings? Wouldn't it have been more honest to stand at the lectern and to enjoy the frenzy? And he? I have no answer to what I would do when I get the opportunity to stand at the lectern. If I close my eyes, I can imagine everything, but just simply everything. But what would I do Then, if it were the reality, not just fiction, intellectual game? What is it when it happens in the transition to the redemptive dream world? When consciousness cannot control it any longer, but awareness is still present to the extent as that it appears like a reality. Should I ask myself this question? Should I answer this question? There is no answer. Even then, at the end, it's just no real reality. The reality is only apparent. So, what would I do? Only the reality would be able to provide an answer to this question. It's open. Open in any direction. But just in any. Thank you for listening.